Okay. So those are the 3 paragraphs. You really need those. You're going to see that again on the final exam. You might even see it again on midterm number 2. That's really important to understand cover letters. Next question, name at least 4 things you would always do before a job interview. Now, most of you did really well on this. You need to review your resume, research the company, research salaries, research the job position itself, practice your interview skills, maybe work on some of the hygiene issues, get that haircut you wanted, or buy a shirt if you need a new shirt or shoes or whatever. Be sure to lay out your appropriate clothes, make sure you really have them. You know, I had one experience where I was planning on wearing a certain jacket for an interview, and the jacket, when I pulled it out, was a disaster. And here it is, I'm leaving in 20 minutes. And oh man, plan B, need to come up with a different outfit for this. Make sure you review the job announcement the night before, get a good night's sleep. There were a bunch of things that I mentioned in my lecture on this, but there are a lot more you might come up with as well. Just be prepared. Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure you know who you're going to talk to, all of these basic things. Next, there are 3 major types of basic resumes. These types are based on the information used to best show your strengths. For a chronological resume, describe A, what information defines this resume type, and B, what type of job seeker is best suited for this type of resume. So 3 points for A, 3 points for B, and I want you to have A and B in your answer. And there's something on Canvas about the resumes and a whole lecture on this. I was disappointed by how poorly some of you did on this section. But for example, here it is, A and B. Here's the answer, chronological resume. It's organized by relevant work experience. That's the goal. Relevant work experience, experience relevant to the job you're applying for. Not, you know, I'm applying to be a vet technician and I have lots of experience being a science tutor or cashier. No, it's relevant experience. If you're applying for a job as a vet technician, you have other experience working in a veterinary office, perhaps specifically as another technician. Who is it for? Someone with sufficient relevant job experience. You don't apply for a job using the chronological resume unless you have experience that says, look at me, I've already worked a job similar to this, or a job that is maybe a precursor to this new job. So it's someone who has that experience, someone seeking a promotion to the next step up. So maybe I've been a technician in a shop for a while and now I want to become shop supervisor or shop foreman. Maybe, you know, you're just taking a step up the proverbial career ladder, as they say. Maybe you're just going to a different location. I've got a great job here in Salinas where I've made some wonderful experience, and now I need a job because I'm moving to go get a degree in Fresno or Davis, and I'm going to change schools or change living situations. I need a job in a different place. So I already have experience. I'm looking for the same kind of job, chronological resume. And rather than switching back and forth, I'll just go down the list. The next question is about functional resumes, and it's really 2 words. A functional resume is about transferable skills. Transferable skills, not just any skills, but skills that transfer from one experience to another. So for example, maybe I've learned skills in school, taking lab classes or doing things in a situation that is appropriate and similar for the job I'm applying for. Maybe I have some math skills. Maybe I have some, um, cashiering math skills might transfer to doing some work in an office, or maybe I've managed people and now I need to go, even though I haven't managed people in a food safety lab, maybe now I can take those management supervisory skills and transfer them to the food safety situation. Um, so who is this for? Who would use a functional resume? They're very popular, very effective, very useful, and they're used for someone who might be a high school or college graduate who doesn't yet have enough transferable, or excuse me, doesn't yet have enough relevant work experience. You're at the beginning of your career. You don't have that relevant experience yet. You've done some things. You did an internship. You did some cashiering in retail. You did a number of things perhaps, but nothing that gives you the credibility for this job. So you have to sell yourself in a different way. You have to sell yourself saying, hey, I don't have the experience, without saying it that way, but look at my skills. I can do this. The other person is somebody changing careers. And the example I used in my lecture before was the tile setter business owner who wanted to go into ag. He needed to make himself credible. How did he do that? He showed all of those things that he knew from his previous experience, and he understood how that would apply to his new career in ag. He also had to make himself credible in terms of, are you serious, or are you just looking for any job that's going to pay you money and you're going to leave as soon as you find a job you really want? How did he make himself credible? He took classes at Hartnell and had transcripts to show, and did an internship in agriculture. So now he says, look, I'm serious about changing careers. I really want to go into this area, and I'm a responsible, bright person who can do this. Look at these ag classes, look at this internship. I'm serious about ag. So that's the functional resume. And combination resume or combinational resume is really just a mixture of relevant work experience and transferable skills. And so it's for someone who has that combination of relevant work experience and transferable skills that makes that type of resume a best fit. And most people, in my experience, use a chronological resume, or maybe a chronological resume with a tiny bit of combinational resume flavor. I don't like to say, where does one stop and the next one start? There's a huge gray area between these resumes where do you put in skills and then it becomes a functional resume? At the extremes, a functional resume and a chronological resume are very, very distinct. And where do you call it a combination? I would never ask you on a test, define this resume, okay? But those are the kinds of resumes. Which one applies to you? Do you have transferable skills? Do you have relevant work experience? Or do you have some combination of those two? And you try to sell yourself with the best foot forward. You also need to look at other things such as gaps in your work history, things like that. How are you going to sell yourself? So that's the chronological resume, functional resume, combinational resume. And then just a bonus question: what type of resume is best for you? Well, if you know what the three are, you know yourself. What do you think? Just tell me what you think. Not, you don't have to commit for any length of time. You're not committing to having to use this. Just tell me why you think you would use 1, 2, or 3, chronological, functional, or combination. And then we go into this one. In order to accomplish your goals, there are several steps to take. A, why is it important to set realistic goals that consider your talents? And B, give an example of a realistic goal. So again, there's no clear right or wrong example, but there definitely is a right or wrong answer in terms of the overall concept here. Why is it important to set realistic goals? So you set yourself up for success. You set yourself up with something you can really achieve. Something that matches your skills, that matches your capabilities. I will never be the point guard for the Warriors. That ain't going to happen. That would be a goal that would set me up for failure. So you want to be realistic. What you need to set yourself up for things that you really can do that match your skills. And if you want to have some goal that's way out here, way beyond where you are now, fine, you can have that goal. Just what is the step? Make sure that step 1 is realistic. You want to be the president of the United States? Go for it. Step 1, you need to get into politics. You need to get into something. You need to become something relevant. You need to get into Congress. You need to become a successful business person. You need to do something that gives you credibility. What is that something? So make sure that you are setting yourself up, and then give me an example. Setting yourself up for something realistic. The next one, why is it important to break goals into smaller pieces? Well, that helps avoid procrastination, helps you avoid becoming overwhelmed. If you have too much going on, it's easy to become overwhelmed. Oh my God, this degree is just too much, and you get frustrated. One thing, I'm going to do this homework assignment and get it out of the way. Done. Next thing. So you set up your calendar and do it. And give an example of a larger goal broken down into pieces. Well, that was one of your assignments. Okay, I want to buy a car. An example of a larger goal broken down into smaller pieces. Figure out what kind of car I want to buy and how much money I need to put away each week or each month in order to save up a good down payment. And investigate getting a loan for the remainder, whatever. Lots of examples. The next one, why is it important to to be specific in writing goals? So you can create the steps effectively. I'm going to get a college degree. How do you make the goal for that? What degree? When? I can't make an educational plan. I can't figure out what classes I'm going to take to get a degree. Where am I going to go? A degree in ag business? Great. Now I know it's a degree in ag business. I can start putting it together, and I want to graduate by, May 2024. Perfect. We're set. You're going to be working. You're not going to finish it in 2 years. You're going to do it 3 years because whatever. That is the difference. If I'm vague, it's hard to make the steps. It's hard to get on track. It's hard to hold yourself accountable because it's just, I'm going to do something. I'm going to get some degree, a college degree. I'm going to get a car. What car? When? New or used? I'm going to buy a home. What city? What type? When are you going to do it? How are you going to put together the down payment? You've got to be specific or the goals are meaningless. You can't create the steps to a vague goal. Be specific. The next one, why is it important to make goals measurable? This is the one that most students get wrong. Making something measurable is knowing when you've achieved the result. It is understanding your progress. It's not about deadlines. That's a different one. I think that's the next question. But measurable is about the steps. Have I finished this step? Have I made it complete? Getting a degree is very measurable. You've got specific classes and grades, and it's all set up to be measured in college. What about outside? Is it measurable? How do I know when I've saved up enough money to buy a car? I need a number. I need a measure. I need to know, what is that number? Do I need $100 a month to get the down payment by December when I need the car? Or do I need $300 a month? How am I going to get that? Measurable is making sure you can achieve your goals, keeping yourself on track, making sure you can monitor your progress. The next one is deadlines, and that one almost everybody gets right because that one's fairly straightforward. You need a deadline to keep yourself motivated, to make sure you get it done on time. Again, college is all set up on deadlines. You've got assignments and midterms and final exams, and everything's on a calendar. Not everything in your life is. You're going to do a garden and you finally get around to planting those seeds in November, you're not going to have much garden. You're going right into winter. You're a little late. When do you need to plant those carrots? When do you need to plant those lettuce seeds? And to keep the lettuce going, maybe you're going to have a bunch of planting dates. When are you going to plant the corn? When are you whatever you're wanting to get out of the garden, you need deadlines. And that's just one example. Everything should have deadlines. And your own deadlines need to be put on top of it. So for example, you're applying for scholarships. The scholarship has a deadline, let's say of, April 10th, already passed, but there was a scholarship that was due around that time that I'm thinking of. You need to get a request to somebody for a letter of recommendation, perhaps no later than March 10th. That way you've got, you can ask them to get it to you in a couple of weeks, and then that gives you another week to get it in without cutting it to the last minute. Deadlines, really important. Why is it important to reassess? Because things change. You need to reassess to make sure, am I on track? Am I making appropriate progress towards my goal or goals? And make sure that you're doing all of the right steps. Make sure your action plan to get your goal taken care of is moving forward. And is it even the correct goal, or do you need to tweak things? Yeah, I was thinking about doing that degree in egg production, but I really, really want to do sustainable crop management now. It's a little different. It's a slightly different flavor, different version of a production type degree. Based on what I've learned, I'm going to change my degree. Or maybe my original plan was to go to Cal Poly, and now based on everything you decided, hey, I want to go to Chico, or I want to go to Fresno, or I want to go to Davis. Your goals sometimes change. So you reassess to make sure you're on track for your existing goal and make sure everything is going towards what goal you think. And you also reassess to make sure that really is the right goal. Or maybe you need to tweak it a little bit. And I'm going to take another quick break and be right